What up, people? Welcome to part 2 of the season 3 premiere episode of the So You Thought to Mike Steph podcast, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Yes, as promised, Tyler McDowell-Blanken will be on the stage with me, and we'll be talking about a different myriad of subjects. We'll be talking about a little bit more a lighthearted tone. Talk about some WWE. We'll talk about LeBron and Stephen A having a confrontation, and and actually we'll talk about whether or not we can turn Mr. McDowell a cult of personality. I mean, I really believe I am, but I think this brother has a cult of personality of his own also. So, with all that being said, we're going to get things directly on the way. And without further ado, good night. And goodbye. Bang!
Marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hot the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music, mixed for living. Rep New York City, but ain't the politician. Always bring the heat, Steph Bacon in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the word of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world of what he does. Tap in.
Yes, I'm back again with Tyler McDowell-Blanken of Gimmick Infringement, and more importantly, not more importantly, because they're both equal, 4AZ, 4AZ.org, 4AZteach.org, GIPod.com. Yeah, see, I got it, right? GIPod.com?
Close. Gimmickinfringementpod.com, at GIPod19, at 4AZteach. It's a lot. I am a lot, Mike Steph. You are all good. I am a lot. I'm so excited to be back with you. Episode 2, season 3. Let's get it.
Yeah. See, I messed up already, but it's all good. It's all good.
We say embrace the mess over at GI.
My DMs.
Brad says embrace the mess. That's what we do.
Oh yeah, we're gonna embrace the mess. Trust and believe we're gonna embrace the mess on this show.
I'm excited to be here. I made it back to the big time.
Yes, yeah, sure. Technically, this would be number 4. Even listen, behind the curtains, we know what number it is, but on screen, it's number 4.
Inflating my ego, activated. I'll take. I'm feeling lucky. I know it's not just the shirt. Not coming off St. Patty's week. I'm feeling lucky today.
Shit. That's why I tried to bring in the green, because darn, it is St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Sure. You have any corned beef and cabbage?
No, I'm gonna disappoint you. No, I don't really mess around with that. I just eat a few apples and pasta. You
having a shamrock shake?
I sure hope so. That would be nice. It's not in the plans, but
okay.
If it just happens, yeah, I'd be down for that. Absolutely.
At the hopefully I'm not being too crass, but are you going to have any Lucky Charms?
I love Lucky Charms. That was my favorite cereal when I was younger. I haven't had a bite of Lucky Charms in probably a decade. It's been too long. So maybe. You
know what's so messed up? Because me saying that would be, it's not really equivalent, but it would be equivalent of an Irish podcast saying, yeah, on Juneteenth, you're going to have some watermelon and chicken?
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, okay. I admit, listen, it was jokes, but neither here nor there. Somebody put in my DMs, matter of fact, I'm not even saying DMs, somebody text me this question, and I'm gonna put you on blast, Mr. McDowell. Shoot. Somebody wanted to know if he could be introduced as the self-proclaimed face of the 19 Media Group. So, do you feel that you're the self-proclaimed face of the 19 Media Group?
I do. Absolutely.
Do you want
me to run by the simply dashing face that you see 100%. But I can run down the resume if you would like, Mike Steph.
Okay, by all means.
I won't even, because I am a benevolent soul, along with being, simply dashing.
Okay.
Resume aside, I'll put it to you like this. Over the past 3+ years in the history of 19 media, shout out to the great Warren Shaw and the Mojo King, there has not been a greater teammate on the network than this guy right here. TMB. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was going to interrupt you. I was like, I'm going to let him get his shit off. You know, what I was going to. When you said TMB, I was ready with the.
So call it the best teammate. Call it the face of the network. Call it what you will. But when we think about who is an indispensable piece of all of this, you're looking at the Monday Night Messiah right here.
The Monday Night Messiah.
Salty Thoughts and Mike Steph podcast every Monday.
The
Messiah
right
here.
I can
see Gimmick
Monday
Infringement
Messiah
every Monday. The Monday Morning Messiah, that has legs to it. I like this.
See, listen.
Yes.
Listen. Not only do I give myself nicknames, I bestow nicknames as well. The Monday Morning Messiah.
We talked about this on the last episode. What I will say, Mike, in all seriousness, out of character though, is thinking about 19 media and gosh, man, I can't believe it's already been since 2021 when it was founded. Not only the content and growing as a podcaster, but really as an artist, if you will, but the people that I've been able to meet, the relationships that have grown due to 19 happening. Even this gentleman that I'm on the episode with right now has been tremendous. So all character work aside, it's been a really blessed 3+ years. I don't know what it would be like to join a media network, to join a media company, especially a new one. But thinking about who's steering the ship, thinking about the mission behind the work, and thinking about the relationships, the people I've met, it's been it's been so cool.
This episode, I'm letting y'all know now, this episode is going to be strongly wrestling themed, just based on a lot of things that I'm going to talk about. So one of the things that came to mind when I got the answer, I got the question of could he be introduced as the face of 19 Media Group, was a couple of questions that I'm going to ask.
Okay.
Are you the face that runs the space?
Certainly. Yeah, you said it, not me.
Are you the face that runs the place?
See, that's a little bit tricky because 19 doesn't have an official headquarters. I would argue the headquarters are Glendale, Arizona, but there's not a brick and mortar at the moment. So I like space more than place.
Okay. Are you the face that runs post haste?
Going back to my benevolent moniker, I can only be one of these things, and I'm going to stick with my original answer.
Okay. Continuing on that theme. Yeah. Continuing on that theme. Would you consider yourself to be the John Cena of 19 Media?
Ooh, that's interesting. We have to unpack that. Historic John Cena or current duplicitous John Cena?
However you want to determine it.
Am I the John Cena of 19? That seems like a loaded question, my bro.
And listen, this is more like on role playing. You decide what direction you go.
Fair enough. John Cena, and this prediction may look terrible a month and change from now, but I'm going to go with it because I think I'm going to be right. John Cena is about to defeat Cody Rhodes in Night 2's main event of WrestleMania, and he will become a 17-time champion, record-breaking champion. So, yeah, I'm going to say I'm John Cena. I can play the babyface, I can play the heel, but regardless of where you slot me, you have to respect the resume. So, yeah, I'm the John Cena of 19. Let's go with that.
Do you rise above hate?
I try to.
Okay. And how important is hustle, loyalty, and respect to you?
I actually love that. I regret that I didn't get a John Cena HLRT back in the day. They probably still sell them somewhere. Yeah, I actually love that moniker. I think that was one of my favorite iterations of Cena. Because who doesn't like that moniker? Hustle, loyalty, respect. That transcends a lot. I love it. Yeah, I'm about that. I'm about that HLR life, Mike Steph.
See, listen, I told you I added some stuff that you had no idea was coming.
Wasn't that the Cena
Now,
theme back in the day?
on a more personal note, because you've mentioned numerous times 3 years in 19 Media Group, the people you've met, the friendship that you've started, um, myself included. Um, how would you describe how our friendship has developed over these last 3 years? Yeah, I know. Normally, this is something you would talk privately, but guess what? I love content. So yeah, we're gonna put this shit up right now because
He's a
like this, I'm so self assured of myself. Doesn't matter. But
he's a
speak
con
speak freely.
he's a content creator. So okay,
Young
meeting
Obama.
you. As I was saying, meeting new friends and really okay. So it's twofold, right? It's meeting people, meeting friends, but then maintaining those friendships. It can already be tricky enough in real life, day to day, but I think particularly when you're doing it virtually, that also adds a whole other layer of complexity of how do you begin a friendship over a screen, phone screen, laptop screen, etc. But then how do you maintain that, and what are the ebbs and flows of a friendship that spans, hundreds if not thousands of miles, just as the ebbs and flows of a person day to day who you work with, or you know your boy or your homegirl you went to school with. So early on, obviously, the genesis of our relationship was you gracing us with your presence on Gimmick Infringement podcast. Shout out to my co-host and tag team partner Brad Winchester. Wrestling culture and more every single Monday. So you came on, and even with the podcast space, I would say, informal poll, 75% of the time you have a guest on. It's kind of a transactional relationship in nature, right? Hey, we want you on. We want you to promote your work and also answer these questions we have about these specific topics. Okay, we good. We'll tweet it out. We'll tag you. Da da da. Perfect. Transactional. But then 1/4 or 25% of the time, you may work with someone in this space, and then a friendship blossoms out of that. Unfortunately, I can say that's what occurred with you and I, my friend. And it's been amazing, man. I think you and I we're thinking about when you first joined us, back in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think we had you on in 2021 because that would have been too
No, it
short
was
of a
prior
window.
to
Would have been
WrestleMania
2022. Yeah, so that's going to be 3 years now officially. And what I feel really blessed for, and what I thank you for, is we've been in each other's lives during some really important periods, during the ups and during the celebrations, but then also for both of us when times were times were challenging, right, on various levels. So I think what you learn through both of those is that you really come to cherish the folks who are with you during both times, because it's easy to be with you when you're up and when let's have a good time, let's celebrate. But then when times are challenging, that's when the folks who are still in your corner and who believe in you and give you grace and put up with you, dare I say. I know those are people in my life who I've come to really, those are the people I want to text back first. Those are the people whose Instagram posts I need to comment on because they, I know they're real ones. So, man, it's been glorious, dare I say, if I can get on my Bobby Roode tip. It's been glorious. It's been expansive, and more than anything, I think it's just been very real and very authentic. So, I'm super grateful for you, bro.
as am I. Like I really am. Words can't even really uh, say how grateful I am for your friendship and how gracious you have been with me. Why do you think we have such a good dynamic when it comes specifically to podcasting? And what do you believe personally is the method to meshing with me?
Wow.
Because I like I've told you off air. There's only there's a there has to be some type of game plan in. I mean, not as much now as I was years prior of kind of corralling me in. There's times that I can still be like that Bronco that needs to. But you heard the question. Answer it.
I did. That young buck, if you will.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That.
What what was the first part of the question? I know the
Okay.
second part was
Yeah.
what's the secret to meshing? What was the first part?
Yeah, the first part was why do you think we have such a good dynamic when it comes
Oh, okay.
specifically to podcasting?
Okay, sure. Thank you for reminding me. Wow. Sometimes when I think for me, I'll go back to that word of authenticity. You're just a real dude. And it helps that our interests align. I also think there's a low key East Coast connection. I will never claim to be a full East Coast dude, even though my roots are there. Obviously, I'm West Coast, the best coast through and through. That's a conversation for another episode, maybe the fifth time I grace the stage. I think it's the authenticity. I think it's the similar interests, starting with wrestling and then learning it's much more than that. And then again, I think the East Coast low key, I think that's definitely an element. And in terms of meshing with you, what's a secret? What's a secret sauce? I don't really know that there is, Mike. I think for me, it's recognizing that you have such various interests and being able to be someone who's been in your corner from 2022 to now. I think it's so incredible that, especially through this platform, you've been able to really showcase the full you in terms of, okay, sometimes he's in his wrestling bag, sometimes he's in his sports bag or politics. But dare I say, some of my favorite episodes of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast have been when you bring in that family element, or when you discuss wellness and mental health and, being able to unpack those layers. I think that's what's important for someone to know about working with you or meshing with you, is that surprise, you're a whole person and you're more than just a wrestling reviewer or a New York Mets super fan. There's a whole person to get to know and to unlock. And, I know you don't necessarily unlock that for anyone, right? Because you're a human being and a lot of us have our guards up. And again, especially developing rapport or collaboration with someone on the other side of the country, it takes time to really make that happen. So I would just remind folks that you're a whole person and you have a really, really special story to tell that goes beyond, your favorite wrestler or your favorite New York Met.
Now, this is going to be something that I'm going to ask, and I'm actually interested. You know, I'll I'll just I'll give this caveat, a little backstory to a certain degree. Um, Matter of fact, I'll say that after I ask the question. Was there a time you legitimately thought I was an asshole?
Many times, of course. Here's the date. No. I'm being facetious. Honestly, Mike, no. Boisterous, certainly. And again, this goes back to how well do you know someone? And this is something I've worked on in myself. How well do you know someone when you've never met them IRL in real
Yeah.
life? And so I've had to work through, and I've shared this with you and probably on air on Gimmick Infringement. I've recognized that I have trust issues. And so, best case scenario, it's healthy when you pull the Michael Jordan and you're like concocting these ideas in your mind of what people said about you, because that motivates you to drop 40 in game 7. Like that's kind of psychopathic, but also kind of healthy to help you score 40 in game 7. But then I think sometimes a lot of us have our guards up. Or I know I have, of just generally, like, okay, I built this relationship with someone. This can be friendship. This can be romantic. It can be a lot of different things. But then at some point, the other shoe is going to drop, or I know they want something from me, or just thinking about like past experiences and like not being able to just let that go or own up to where I went wrong. So I've had to do a lot of work of how do I know when I can trust someone and hopefully be my most authentic, real self with them. Again, whether I see them every week, whether I just know them through StreamYard or through Instagram. So that's something I'm working on. But I would say boisterous, certainly. But what helped is you got the cosign from Mo. Hidden Gems Football. Shout out HGF. So it wasn't as if it was a totally random connection. Oh, Brad and I saw you comment on something WWE or AEW related. The fact that you got the cosign from Mo, also a great man, also a great dude, amazing collaborator. The fact that he kind of put his name and said, "Hey, I have this friend, I have this colleague, Mike Steph. He loves wrestling. Really good dude. I think you guys would mesh well." That was one of those cool instances where, it was kind of through a mutual friend that the introduction happened. And I always fell back on, man, if Mo's co-signing this brother, he's got to be all right in my book. And then come to find out, you're more than just that. So
No, the reason which why I asked that, reason I asked you the question before I said my part. December 2022, as I've mentioned on this platform before, I had a life altering situation. Now, prior to that, matter of fact, prior to that, I was not to rehash everything, but I was burning the candle at both ends, right? And I've probably been doing that for years, and unfortunately, or matter of fact, in my case, fortunately, because I choose to look at it as positive, um, it burnt out and kind of blew up, right? Now, prior to that, like I said, I could look back and I'm like, we had a disagreement, like pretty much trolling going wrong on my end, and I said this when Brad was on here, and I'll say it to you, and I said it prior to this, but I'll say to you, you never held that against me, like even after when I reached out, like I was wrong and everything. At that point in time, you could still have been like, dude, all right, yeah, you could be wrong. All right, I accept that. But past that, after I had my situation and I kind of divulged more or less what happened, or that I pretty much something happened to me, to both you and Brad. You sent me a cameo via Nyla Rose. And I want to say that's probably one of the most thoughtful things somebody has ever done for me, especially at that point in time in my life. And what was said, even though the wrestler was saying it, I can literally know it was coming from your heart. So, and I think even at the end, she was like, yeah, Mike, I don't know you personally, but the person who requested this, they really they're really concerned with you as a friend, not in a negative connotation, but like they really do fuck with you, for lack of a better term. And that kind of helped me. Because I've always had trust issues. I give people 2 strikes. I don't give them 3 strikes. So for that to be reversed, like, all right, I was in a wrong of a situation, and the person's like, all right, that happened. I took a breath. Okay, overall, all right, he must have been going through something more. All right, fine. I'm not even gonna hold that against him. We'll move past that. All right, now if he gives me 2 times, I might not. But all right, I'll give him a mulligan. I'll give him a mulligan.
Yeah.
So for that endeared me to you even more. And I've told you on air and off here, not the little. I'll never say little bro because that's. But I consider you a younger brother because just based on age gap. I mean, I'm I'm closer to your parents' age than I am to your age. To a certain degree.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, like literally, like you're maybe like a year or two older than my oldest son would be. So
right.
without divulging your age, because you're like, yeah, you're just a 30-something man with a podcast and a dream.
I'm just a 30-something-year-old single man with a podcast. I'm just trying my best out here. Yeah.
I added
that's my gimmick for 2025. Thank you.
Not forgetting that I know the age, but I'm not gonna divulge that. I might feign like I'm
closer to 30. Closer to 30 than 35.
If it's a line chart, it's closer to one end than the other.
Closer to 30. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, just like I'm closer to 50 than to 40.
Praise God. We're out here.
All praises due. So, but I say all that to say, that's why I personally feel dynamic when it comes to this is pretty damn good because you've grown to know exactly, me, or what I've allowed people to know, but besides that, me, and I kind of feel I get a gist of, okay, serious time, playtime. Like when I'm on your shows, you give me the freedom to do, but then at the same time, there's a look in your eye like, all right, Mike, we got to move on. And, okay,
I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
I told you that. Yeah,
you have. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
So
sure.
It's always a pleasure to have you on. But I have one final question before we get to sports talk and everything.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it.
And these are random.
Oh, even better.
Did you ever cheat on the test in school?
Wow, this is on the rundown, and I'm acting like I'm totally ill prepared for it. Did I ever cheat on a test in school? I remember. I'm gonna give you a specific situation. I remember once being this was career exploration class, and we were in a portable classroom because there was some renovation work happening. Just remember, I think it was his freshman year of high school, if I'm not mistaken. And I had to make up a career exploration test. And our teacher walked out of the room to use the restroom somewhere or something. And it was not an open book test, but I remember distinctly being very tempted to look at the book. And I think even there were some classmates in the room with me who were maybe doing nefarious things. So of course I, kept my perfect record and did not. But I specifically remember being very tempted. I don't even know if people were feeding each other answers.
Okay.
But I don't I don't recall cheating on that test. I certainly hope I did not. Okay. In terms of elementary school, so there's that 9th grade example. So it's ironic now that my work has been largely based on teaching 9th graders and trying to impart solid values with them.
You steer them from
hopefully they're not listening to this, but no, I remember career exploration being very tempted. I honestly don't recall what happened after that. I know I didn't look at the book and oh my gosh, where is he? Let me do that. But I remember there was just an environment where it's like, oh, are we all going to feed each other answers or not? Prior to that, though, in elementary school, honestly, Mike, I don't recall any instances of doing that. Was the temptation there? Certainly. Was there, oh, let me get an answer here. Let me see what's going on here. Absolutely. But did I just outright have an epic moment of that? Not that I can think of, truthfully, not that I can think of. But I certainly, let me clarify, I was not without flaw and without mistakes, but I honestly don't recall having, a movie out of the, off the silver screen. They call it silver screen. Maybe that's a dated reference. I don't recall having a moment from what we see on TV or movies where, I executed a master plan. But was there temptation? Sure. Did I make mistakes in that regard or into hey, plagiarism and make sure, you're citing your sources. That's something I definitely had to learn and was not perfect at whatsoever.
Since you mentioned this, the silver screen of what made me think of that question? I was watching an episode of the original Wonder Years, and Kevin and Paul was having a disagreement over this algebra test, and Paul wanted to go home and study, and Kevin wanted to play basketball or whatever. And Paul was like, look, we gotta test them all. I'm studying. And then when we got to the class, Paul was doing his thing. Kevin was stumped. And then he looked over to Paul, and Paul made a point to cover his paper like, you ain't looking at my shit.
Yeah.
So
I think we all had that where it's the classic, like, oh, and hey, that smart person I sit next to, they're so smart. Let me see. Yeah, like that totally was a thing, growing up. But luckily, I think I was able to evade some of that. I think also this is probably getting too far in the weeds, but I can think of some really great teachers I had who there wasn't that classic pressure on, okay, this is the test, make or break, pass or fail, so on and so forth. I remember I had one of my great history teachers. He had this policy where he would take your, say, 3 highest test scores over the course of the semester. Your lowest test score he would drop, because he told us as high schoolers, like, you're not always going to be up here. There are days for various reasons or seasons within the semester, if you will, where you're not going to be at your best. So whatever your lowest score is, by the time, the semester's getting ready to end, we're going to drop that. So I think also I was fortunate in that I had a lot of really forward-thinking teachers where, whether it was the breakdown, the calculation of your grade and how it's weighted, or whether it was that we're going to drop the lowest test score at the end, or makeup opportunities, I was really fortunate that the way class was orchestrated, the environment, there wasn't necessarily, again, I was not perfect, but there wasn't necessarily that pressure of, I have to score well, I have to look at homegirl's test because I know she's smarter than me. Like, we just had a system where I had teachers who were really encouraging, and I think already planned for, oh, they're 14 or they're 15. Let me make sure I'm creating a system where I'm preparing them to be successful and hopefully avoiding temptation to be, academically. Exactly. So trial and error, I'm going to say no for that question.
Okay.
I want to give big ups to my teachers for, again, creating those systems that led to me hopefully leading with integrity and doing the right thing, if you will. And shout out to my parents as well for also holding me accountable in that regard.
Speaking of nefarious actions.
Dang, there it is on the screen.
Now, we've discussed,
Mm-hmm.
we just totally went left from what we was talking about, but we've discussed privately, and we've touched on, on different episodes, how WWE embraces Black culture, as in, the hip hop scene, rapping scene, and so forth. But do they really embrace Black wrestlers? Like, I'll say this. Parading around supposed icons of our culture, such as, according to them, such as Sexy Red, like really, Domingos, this cocksucker right here, Travis Scott, amongst others. It shows that they're trying to get, they're almost like culture vampires. They're trying to get the blood from our creativity, but when it comes on screen, ever since Triple H has taken over, for those who forgot about who Triple H is connected to, that bald guy right there, next to the leader of the Department of Education that they're trying to dismantle, that mother effer right there is supposed to be the same guy who will take a picture with Travis Scott and Amigos and Sexy Red, giving them the finger, the point. Yeah. Things don't add up. Things just don't equate, right? So the reason I asked this, or what brought this to mind, is up until recently, it seemed like the Black wrestlers are taking a step back under the Triple H regime. The Street Profits, Bianca Belair, the EST, Shoot, I could say Bobby. That was probably a large reason why Bobby Lashley left WWE, or his contract was allowed to expire and he chose not to try to enter negotiations, or should I say, negotiation probably went entered upon him. Yeah, I know he's 48 years old, but he still has something to give. But that last year, he was literally just floating around, and he took his talents over to AEW to bring up the Hurt Syndicate. You know, we hurt people. You know, MVP, Shelton Benjamin. I mean, Ricochet. If you want to think about it, Ricochet is receiving more clout right now in AEW, as much as to my chagrin, than he really received in WWE. WWE was literally probably in the everyday conversations amongst this quintet called a spot monkey. Yeah, I said it. Samantha Irvin. She was given an opportunity, or should I say, she wanted a bigger opportunity to share her talents with WWE. She wanted to be more of an on-air talent, part of maybe a manager, maybe even a manager realm. Nah, you keep your ass over there and announce these wrestlers. And she did a couple, she added a little flair to the announcements. And then, of course, soon after her departure, she wasn't given a grandiose goodbye, like, we salute Samantha Irvin. It was like, yeah, Samantha Irvin's no longer with us. Yeah, we wish her the best in her future endeavors. Guess who we brought back? Daniel Garcia, come on down. Right? Now, like I said, up until recently, now we have the storyline of, not literally, but who killed Jade? Who killed Jade? Chuck, not the squad, kid. We've been framed. Naomi has been targeted by Jade because, according to Jade, yeah, I saw Naomi run away after I was attacked and thrown onto a car window. And and Bianca. Bianca's so far in the clear because she's trying to figure out, Naomi, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Like, answer me, why? Now, there was a interview this past week. Jade Cargill gave her first public thoughts on the situation and with Kathy Kelly, and she did mention that part of her hurt was Bianca teaming with Naomi as if nothing happened. Your thoughts on whether or not, matter of fact, I'm going to splice it up like this, since I kind of led into this. Your thoughts, do you believe Naomi was by herself, or do you believe Bianca was complicit? That's question number one.
I think Bianca had a hand in this somehow. Recent programming, like you mentioned, the picture you showed up on YouTube, Mike, and some of the recent story beats lead me to believe, well, maybe Bianca really is innocent. And we know we love the EST. I've been quoted as saying she's the greatest wrestler alive back when I was on the artist formerly known as Twitter. I have a hard time believing that she had nothing to do with this.
Nothing
at all.
Not a damn thing.
When the song, one of my favorite wrestling themes goes, what is it? My back's against the wall, on my own, against the wall. The precious building, I would never fall. They hear me roar. I never needed you at all. Like, even
I never needed you at all.
Even the bop gives, even though she's a role model. I know Main Event K, your incredible daughter has met Bianca and Jade. Even though Bianca is the foremost role model, no pun or no gimmick infringement intended there. Even the song, when we really remove the bop of it all, alludes to, no, I am the EST.
Yes.
I am number one for a reason. I don't need anybody. Watch me power slam Otis if needed. So if we get that heel persona that a lot of the fans have been yearning for, harkening back to our NXT Black and Gold days, to me, it just seems like the stars are aligning. You have this story where Bianca could very easily be in cahoots with Naomi. You have the bop, if you really look at the lyrics, if you do your genius.com situation. And if you just think of where Bianca's at in her career on the main roster, much like her Booth thing, much like Montez Ford, there's something to be said for freshening up the character. Yeah, she could be a babyface until the end of time and be, in my opinion, the greatest wrestler in the world. But there's something to be said for freshening it up, as evidenced by our conversation regarding John Cena. To answer your question, I still believe Bianca has some hand in this somehow, some way. But I will give huge credit to Naomi for making me believe that maybe Bianca is just being framed by me and half of the IWC. Maybe she had nothing to do with the attempted homicide on her former tag partner, Jade Cargill. And frankly, if you're to tell me we're going to get that Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair feud, I tend to think it makes a lot more sense in my mind to have Jade be the heel rather than Bianca. That's how I always prescripted it in my mind. But Mike Steph, I'm just a 30-something single guy with the podcast. I'm just trying my best out here. What say you?
I'm thinking this is how they're going to end up playing it. Jade, unfortunately, to me, and this is not casting any aspersions on her personally, because I don't know her in real life. I'm talking about on screen, the persona that she's had. She leans heel to me. I believe Naomi admitted, I did it. And I wish I would have pushed her harder. Okay, no remorse. Okay, great.
Naomi she called Bianca ungrateful.
Yeah, she called
amongst other things. Yeah.
Right.
I was like, oh, that seems like that would be genuine.
But what I believe is going to happen is Jade is so hell-bent on revenge, she is going to go over the line, and Bianca will be like, listen, I get it, but at the end of the day, I F with Naomi way longer than I've been effing with you. You pretty much, you're a bully with Naomi. Like, which girl? You on your bully ball with her. You know she can't whip your ass. That's why Naomi had to have help. Naomi wouldn't have been able to do that by herself. But I think she's going to go over the line. And then Bianca is going to come to Naomi's aid and like, listen, all right, we can deal with this. We can deal with me and you afterward. But yo, homegirl, which girl is just effing you up off GP. So in that case, Jade technically is the face, but she's being overtly heelish. And Bianca is technically a face. She stayed a face, but she's protecting a heel. So just by connection, she's going to be unpopular. Like, look, how you defending her actions. If she deserved to get her ass whooped numerous times. But I present Exhibit A.
You brought out the receipts?
Yes. Now, I really did mean to ask my daughter, could I put this up? So I do apologize to her. So I'm going to put it down right now. For those who saw on YouTube the picture that I put up, my daughter went to a signing of Jade and Bianca last year when they first got together. And just based on body language alone, Bianca was more accommodating. Bianca was more comfortable. Bianca was like, yeah, hey, all right, take this picture. Jade is like, I'm going to put my hand on this girl, but as long as she don't fuck up my nails, and I'm going to flex. Hurry up and take this picture. Heel. That picture gives heel. Heel, I say. Heel. Like I said, I don't know her personally, but that's personal state. What, you acting like my daughter stunk? Shoot, like, together. Shoot, like, come on, like, it's almost like, listen, I'm tired of these rabid children putting their hands and getting too close to me and everything. I'm tired of these mother effers. Hurry up and take this picture. It's just like, listen, this part of the program.
To quote an infamous saying here on the Salty Thoughts of Mike Step podcast, it's giving the unwashed masses. Why
Yes.
am I amongst the unwashed masses? And
Yes.
also peep my incredible bicep.
Yeah. Look at my pearly white teeth. Like I get it. I get it. Listen, I
we're
get it.
being
But
what's the word I'm looking for? We're being spicy. I think really though, Mike, the money is in. And by the way, low key, main event K, very tall. Bianca Belair shorter than we
my daughter is
perceive.
5'5".
Wow. I've seen Bianca wrestle. I think her aura just gives kind of like Rhea Ripley that she's, an Amazon in terms of
Yeah, 'cause
height
remember,
wise.
Rhea Ripley is only like 5'7".
5'6", yeah, 5'6", 5'7". Yeah, and Bianca must be
Yeah,
like
it's just I
right
don't.
around there.
Yeah, just the way she
It's the
presents
aura,
herself.
I think. And that's a
Yeah,
credit to WWE and the production team of, historically these figures seem larger than life. In the case of Jade, literally, than the case of Bianca or Rhea, like, no, maybe kind of taller height, but not, 6 feet plus. What I was going to say though, Mike, is
Mhm.
we all know the money is in Jade versus Bianca. It's just a question of how do we get there? What are the roles each are going to play? I don't know that any of us were yearning for them to be a tag team.
No.
But I low key was about it. I love it. Two
Yeah.
sisters, we can get together. We don't have to beef, or at least until next year. Then we'll beef. I really enjoyed the actual delivery of how they did it. But we know, I'm on record. You can find this on YouTube somewhere. A dream match for me, going back 2+ years ago, was Jade versus Bianca. I think we're gonna get that as soon as maybe SummerSlam. You can make the case maybe it'll happen sooner, but to me, that has to be a marquee match. And I would trust Jade's been in the lab because Bianca's going to be ready to go, and I just think that match is going to be big time. I just have a hard time seeing it heel Bianca versus face Jade, but also Jade's incredible. And you saw when she came for Naomi at Elimination Chamber, Mike, huge reception. So maybe there's money in Jade being a babyface. I know she was a heel for 90% of her AEW run as TBS champ, but maybe it's just a case of we haven't seen it yet. And when we do actually see a continued babyface Jade, maybe we're going to be about it. I'm just glad she's back.
Yeah, I am too. Like, and it does seem like has been in the lab already because like I told you on GI the other week after Elimination Chamber, that beating that she put on Naomi was tight. It was precise. There was no light in anything. It was very nice and crisp. Like she literally looked like she was whipping her ass. So if that transitions into a actual match, and we'll know this week because she's supposed to be in the ring with Liv Morgan on SmackDown. That's going to be very interesting to see exactly where they're going. I feel like she had to have some type of improvement if they're saying, you know what, we're setting this up supposedly for a one-on-one match at WrestleMania with Naomi. Naomi has the cachet of, which course she's the veteran, she's gonna be able to lead and everything, but it's like, all right, we could take the handcuffs off. You and Naomi one-on-one, handle your business. Bianca, all right, which guard you had it on training reels. All right, Bianca, we're gonna transition over here to set this up for post Mania, Jade versus Bianca, however the roles may shift out. But continuing on the topic of WWE embracing Black culture, but not Black wrestlers, are they really being concerned? Are they being more upfront concerning they're being more outgoing with their lingering issues? Like you got Hulk Hogan still having cachet on the product. His nasty ass beard is still being promoted because they're half owners. Like, it's not the fact they're doing a favor. No, they're half owners. They have an ownership stake in Real American Beer by Hulk Hogan. After everything we know about Hulk Hogan, right? Like I said, we have the connection with the Trump administration. We have numerous controversial personalities that their interests skewed toward don't have the best interests of Black culture, Black Americans whatsoever. I mean, just this past week we had Andrew Schultz along with Logan Paul, along with AJ Styles, that good old country boy from Georgia. neither here nor there. I'm not gonna go there with AJ, but that was an interesting trio. But the Street Profits, finally, after 4 long years, are back at the top of the mountain. Right? But why? You notice that they've developed a personality change. A lot of people thought they were going heel, but yet they just was that a heel matchup, or was that just Street Profits with the edge? Which I'm not saying that they didn't need an edge, because they needed a little fresh up, they needed a little touch up to their presentation. The fronts. Maybe this is old man Mike speaking. Montez can't even talk with the grill in his mouth. I was like, yo, did he? Because there was like a little post SmackDown interview that they had with Kathy Kelly, and he was talking, but it's almost like he was like, we want to smoke, and I'm like, yo, did he get popped in the jaw, or can he talk? Can he not talk with the fronts? Then you have the picture with him, and I wish I would have uploaded it. The picture with him and Triple H giving them the point, like, I'm like, did they get the championship because they skewing a little gangster, quote unquote? Like, the reason to me why the Street Profits momentum has been stunted over the last year and a half is because they kept on going against the wave of trying to make them heel when nobody wants to boo them. Everybody knows Street Profits, they about to smoke, they about to party, they about that action. But you tried to make them heel. And it's almost like, all right, we're gonna reset, we're gonna take them out, and then we're gonna push them again as a heel. Oh, no, because it's like they appeared every 3 weeks. It's like they would come, they would jump somebody, and they disappear. Mm-hmm. They would come, get jumped, and they disappear. Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, we're gonna let DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns have this quote unquote banger at Royal Rumble, and we're gonna have the Street Profits mess up the dream match. To put them in the role of a heel. What's your thoughts on how they are portraying some of the long tenured black wrestlers in WWE? And am I barking up the wrong tree or no?
It's tough because everything you laid out certainly has credence, and I'm just happy, as you said, the Profits are back, and 4 years later, it's been 4 years since they were last tag champs. I'm just glad we're back, in that picture you showed with them victorious over DIY. I'm grateful we got that moment. There you go, back on YouTube. Beautiful. Love Tez, love Doc. Glad they're back on top. One of my favorite tag teams. I agree with you in terms of your observations regarding their characters and how, you get a little more street, and like, now you got gold, not only in your mouth, but you're holding gold as well. It's tough because I agree with everything you said, particularly this juxtaposition of, okay, we're bringing Travis Scott in the fold. Profits are champs, so on and so. Yep, Travis Scott. I've also accepted that Travis Scott, Sexy Red, I am not their target demographic. I've accepted that. I'm okay with it, and we can all move on. But you have these instances where it's okay, as a company, we're investing in the culture, we're about the culture, but then you have, as you pointed out, Andrew Scholes making the guest spot and being set up to be cheered. Gross. Logan Paul exists and is probably a future world champion. Let's just call a spade. I think he is for sure winning that title within the next year. As of right now, as we record March 2025, Mike Steph, prediction that you didn't ask for, by March 2026, Logan Paul is holding that championship on Monday nights.
Think he beats Jey Uso for it?
Yes.
Mega Heat?
Yes. 100%.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, sure.
New Jersey.
Sure. Business-wise, it makes sense. Here's the thing. Logan Paul, granted, he is very gifted athletically and has taken to wrestling like very few celebrities have. He would not be here if he didn't have a following. You can't deny. I can't believe I'm Logan Paul defender. I feel like I'm going to get struck by lightning. You can't deny the fact that he has an audience, and that's why he's in the position he's in. Not only can he deliver a cool frog splash, but he has an audience. Millions of people follow this dude.
Mm-hmm.
So all that being said, I agree with you. I find a lot of this to be abhorrent, right? It's like, okay, we're about the culture, but here's real American beer. We're still selling Hulk Hogan t-shirts. I saw a dude wearing a Hulkamania shirt at the movie theater for Queen of the Ring. I guess people still have a lot of affinity for him and their memories watching him. I agree with you. It does upset me because I think there is legit concern over who you claim to be as a company versus what you are actually about. And you've shown us a lot of receipts, especially at the hearing for our Secretary of Education, that are in contrast with who you purport to be as a company. Also, this year, there we go. There's the photo. Brand new, from my recollection, not acknowledging Black History Month in any sort of tangible way. That is something new for them. Interesting. My long point that I'm attempting to make is if you contrast that, though, with what we see on NXT, right? Because NXT has really purported to be about the culture, right? Not like if you see their champions, right? Obafemi, probably my favorite wrestler in the entire company right now. Obafemi's champ. You know, Jada Parker got next. Javon Evans is being spotlighted. And there's others, immensely talented folks. I knew I was forgetting people. Trick Williams. He and Roxanne Perez were the face of the launch on the CW network. So you have these characters who, I would say by and large are not necessarily, and I don't know if this is more credit to the company or more credit to them or both deserve credit. They're not necessarily that caricature, right? That used to like make the hair on our skin crawl when it's like, oh, we have Black talent, but, and this may be a controversial take, they have to wear unicorn horns and throw pancakes in the audience. And their merch is like 2 shades darker than their actual shade. Like I was never really into New Day merch. I'll keep it a buck because it was the Bootios. It was the merch where it's like, oh, they like this just feels very of a past time. And maybe the response could be, yo, Ty, those 3 dudes, those 3 amazing dudes, Kofi, Xavier, E, they're in charge of this. They have say. But to me, it was given like, oh no, this is caricature. My point, Mike, is what we see now, particularly from talent in NXT, it feels less caricature and more authentic. I know you're a big fan of Miss Parker, right? Jada Parker feels like she can just be given the reins to be her. Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, Metaphor.
Yeah.
They're dope. They're amazing. They got next. So we're in this really fascinating position of we're not seeing Kamala, the Ugandan headhunter, walking around. It's seemingly we have more authentic, real characters. But we also know that the company is in cahoots with certain figures or certain companies that are completely antithetical to promoting Black joy, Black talent, to preserving Black wellness. So I'm really bothered by it, Mike. I really, over the last few weeks in particularly, especially all of February, it just made me think about, I'm so invested in this product. I'm a consumer of this product with my eyeballs, with my wallet. But do they really F with us like that? I'm not sure.
See, the last thing I'll say on this is you mentioned NXT, they're allowed to be their more authentic selves. Like, all right, listen, you have way more leeway.
And we're not a monolith, right?
Yeah.
Obafemi, Nigerian. We talked about Jada Parker, Javon Evans, completely different character. Ricky Starks is different than Javon Evans. Wesley is different than, like, I dig that we're not a monolith. We don't just have to be Crime Time or Kamala.
But now that's going to lead to when they're eventually called up to the main roster, are they going to be able to continue being their authentic selves, maybe a little bit more polished, or are they going to be slotted into a role? Because classic example.
Teaming with the Miz, is that the
Thank
endpoint?
you.
Come on, Carmelo
for NXT is nowhere near the same man that Carmelo is on SmackDown.
You have the black, you have the light skinned HBK, and you'll have him. I know the Miz is
number one draft pick.
Number one draft. You got Melo is Melo is money. You don't miss. I think that's
yes.
Carmelo. You don't miss.
Missing every week. Well,
first 48 Jones, first 48. I love the moves and the names of the moves. We didn't mention Kalani Jordan as well. Again, also a standout talent, former champion in NXT. Yeah, and on the main roster hasn't by and large translated. I think with Obafemi, I mean, I could
the choice.
I could talk until the end of time about how much I love Obafemi. He is undeniable. I think he's going to be just fine. But in the case of Carmelo, I know we're speaking about specifically, that has not been as immediate of an ascension.
But also, this would be the last one. Obafemi, okay, he comes up, and this is my tin hat theory. They let him mow down competition. He runs through one brand like a knife through butter. All so he could be built up, be chopped down by Braun Breaker. You know that's happening. That can happen. Yeah, yeah.
I'm also a big Braun Breaker guy.
Listen,
I said I hope you're wrong.
Yeah.
Obafemi should win that.
Would not surprise me. Because I mean
that's TBD.
Like I said,
that's TBD.
Hat, and I'm being more militant on my beliefs when I'm talking about this. Like, get the man, build him up for the man to chop him down.
Yeah. Can I interest you in a Brock Lesnar return to beat? I'm not even gonna see. This is
Don't
bad.
Even speak him up.
This is bad for
he might make a special appearance on NXT just to take the championship from Oba.
This is bad for my juju. Yeah, Mike, it's fascinating, and in fairness, we know this is not just wrestling companies, but companies in general. This goes back to last week's episode when you and I spoke. When we think about a lot of our power is where we spend our money and who we spend our money with. Often that's at the forefront of my mind is, man, how do we assess the companies we're supporting? Like, I wish there were a website, a nonpartisan website that could maybe give us a letter rating, like the Better Business Bureau or something, or we can just see, okay, which company by and large agrees with my values.
Grade?
Yeah, because I tell you what, we haven't spoken about this and it's not exactly related to the topic, but you and I usually off air have shared our thoughts on the multi-million-dollar deal with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And, do we watch Crown Jewel? How do we feel about performers going over there? Oh, is it a coincidence that CM Punk doesn't make it over there? That's pretty cool that he doesn't. But Sami Zayn is over there now, and Bianca's there, and Bianca seems like the best moral compass there is. So it's very nuanced, but WWE, if 2024 proved anything, Mike, WWE has such a special place in the zeitgeist. And I think we really saw with their debut on Netflix, people just came out of the woodwork and said, wow, wrestling. I remember watching that. Look how cool it is now that they're back. And WWE is in many ways has operated as a monopoly for so long. But I really think they have a monopoly, if you will, over a lot of our childhoods. I think that's something that's so cool about the company is that so many people I meet have some connection to wrestling one way or another. But now that I'm no longer 8 years old, now that I'm no longer a mark, and I think about, companies I want to support, how do we just do that dance between, okay, I want to spend my money with a company I like, but I also have questions when, the brass is at the confirmation hearing for a candidate to possibly end the Department of Education and, light a torch to public education, which is responsible for my living every day and something I care deeply about. How do we but I also want to watch WrestleMania. I want to get these grabs in. And the podcast kind of depends on it. It's like, it's just that dance that each of us have to figure out.
It's almost similar to being a football fan where right around the time all the Kaepernick stuff was going to happen. It's like, darn, am I a sellout because I want to watch my Jets?
I bet.
But how they're blackballing Kaepernick or how they're treating his situation is kind of effed up. And so it's like,
team ownership as well.
It's
just it's with a lot of organizations. We could go down the list. NFL, WWE are at the top. Yeah, man, it's I think about it often, particularly over the past few weeks when we've seen these people pop up, really since the start of the new year. It's just this, wow, okay, WWE is under new ownership and it feels way less diabolical. So that's a win for the talent. That's a win for us. But, we get the finger pointing and we get the, like, oh, I'm pretty sure these guys are, texting Dana White every day. And I kind of despise that man. But I'm also supporting TKO because UFC is WWE and WWE is UFC now when it comes to the books.
And the slap contest.
Yeah. And by the way, this guy's on camera assaulting his wife.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, sorry, I got animated there. I guess we just kind of forgot about that because I like to see cage fights. Like, that doesn't concern y'all that he's okay.
Oh no, that just happened. That happened a year ago or so. Yeah.
We just forget about it but like you said, with the NFL, it's similar. Like when we just have an affinity for, I'm being long-winded. You probably said that 30 minutes ago. It's just whether it's these apps or these leagues or these companies we support, it's just weighing what do they provide in my life that brings me joy versus what am I willing to stand 10 toes down on and say, you know what, I like this, I enjoy this, but I can find that joy somewhere else, or I can go to another company that, is maybe more aligned with what I believe. But WWE is responsible for a lot of my childhood memories, and I like to think that they are in a better position now than they were years ago when they had a different person steering the ship. But I don't know that I say that with my chest either. But we know in many ways that is not happening. Number one, thank the Lord for the talent and the employees of that company. But politically, yeah, certainly politically, I think it's clear as day where they stand, and I don't love that.
Speaking of steering the ship, I'm going to do an executive decision, and we're not talking about LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith because they don't really matter. How
do the Lakers have a better record than the Suns? How are the Lakers up and the Suns are? I think Mike. Let me just add on, because you're gracious and you're saying this because of time, because we've been together for a minute now. I just want to say, I think it's very entertaining. It reminds me of being in journalism classes and learning about how do you form relationships with sources, and inevitably you're probably going to piss off some sources. But, in Stephen A's case, this isn't just like reporting truth and that's going to upset people. Stephen A, maybe future presidential candidate, who knows? Stephen A is kind of his own case study.
Yeah.
But I wanted to honor you, man, because I know you worked hard to put this together. It's entertaining. I've not consumed as much NBA this year, in part because thinking about the Phoenix Suns makes me very sad. But I'm pretty much pro LeBron in most things. I kind of like that he stepped to Stephen A. I know Stephen A gets a little bit animated on air, and this is the politician in me. I see the argument for both sides. Stephen A needs to be checked. We like that very much. And also, Bron with helping get Bronny on the Lakers, like, yes, it's been given nepotism. What say you?
I'll say this. I agree with. Okay, at first I feel like LeBron could have said that. Said, you know what? Let me holler at you after the game. But at the same time, people's like, no, he's more calculated than that. That was pure emotion. No. He was calculated in the fact of this happened to be the day that he got the bag, that Stephen A got announced that he got $100 million. All right, you got $100 million in which in part of speaking on athletes such as myself. You have a platform 5 days a week that you famously say 5 days a week. I could get on my platform. I got multiple platforms that I could put your name in the dirt. But guess what? I know there's cameras around. Yeah, and you're sitting next to your agent, and you're sitting next to this Larry Davis, and the cameras are on, and we're in LA. Guess what? I'm talking to you right now, because you don't give me that grace, so therefore I'm not giving you that grace. We're not gonna have a fisticuffs. It's not gonna go there because I'm worth $1 billion, and all right, you getting up there. Look, we're not gonna squabble. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna let you know, and yeah, everybody's going to be able to read my lips. Stop fucking with my son, straight like that. Whether that's true or not, whether that's the narrative or not, I'm putting that out there. You always say I'm always approachable. I'm at every game. I'm at the game. You can come and holler at me. Guess what? I holler at you. So
yeah, they're both at the top of their respective positions. Bron is still the most famous basketball player in the world. And Stephen A, I mean, Pat McAfee, we didn't mention Pat McAfee in our earlier conversation. I don't have much to say about him. Pat McAfee is getting up there in popularity, but Stephen A is at the apex of his profession as well, Mike. So, I mean, these are the two most recognizable names and faces in their respective industries. And both are very calculated. I don't think either do things on a whim. They're very cerebral. They're very successful for a reason. They think through their actions before they do them.
Yeah, like I said, I get it. I get both sides. If my cousin who is watching this, he knows I'm not really a LeBron supporter. But at the same time, if somebody goes in their show and tries to talk to me man to man through a camera, talking about as a father, and gets all dramatic in his General Hospital voice, as a father, you got to stop. Then guess what? Whether I agree with what you're saying or not, whether that has merit or not, guess what? As a father, I'm stepping to you based on talking about how I father my son. Fuck you. Straight like that. So that's the part. If it was strictly basketball, LeBron would have a leg to stand on. But when you say, as the father, I need you to just what's going on.
That's a great reenactment.
You can't listen. Gloves are off. It's on site. Without the fisticuffs, it's on site. As soon as I have an opportunity to holler at you, I'm putting you on blast. And guess what? Whatever happens about it happens. Especially, all right, my son is on the sideline. My son is seeing that. My son can't know that we're in the same vicinity, and I don't step to you.
Right.
But he's calling out my, my ways as a father. Now I gotta holler at you.
Yeah.
I gotta holler at you. So
yeah. It's pro wrestling.
Yeah.
This is exactly what except they're not gonna, settle their beef at Mania inside a squared circle. But this is pro wrestling. Sometimes I look at these stories, Mike, and I think these are two grown ass men. Can we just figure this out? Can't there be a resolution? But sometimes, to your point, it's not going to be behind closed doors. It's going to be, as you said, on site.
Can they just be like Aaliyah? We need a resolution.
Please. Y'all are two grown men. Y'all got 401ks. Well, you probably don't need 401ks with all the millions they're making, but y'all are two grown men. Just figure it out. Communicate.
Yeah, like people don't even realize what Ty just did. He mentioned it in passing, but Ty just made sure we got to that last topic without me trying to skip the last topic. He's like, no, bro, no, we're gonna hit this last topic. I saw it on the rundown.
You work hard. You work hard, brother. I got you.
I appreciate
always.
That. I was like, wow, like he's really. I'm trying to like, nah. He's like, no. What say you? I'm like, oh, okay, damn. No, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. Shoot, but matter of fact, yeah, I'm going. somehow, some way, I'm going to get his opinion on his trap tail. Somehow, some way, more likely it'll probably be in the form of a clip that he's famous for sending in, and I can put it up. So yeah, but I say all that to say, in all honesty, Rich Gordon, I really, really appreciate you carving out this big, large segment of time to grace me with your presence, to grace this platform with your presence of not one but two episodes that we recorded at one time. So yeah, just combine all the time, and you'll know exactly how long. Not even talk about the preamble of what we talked about before we pressed record. So, but no, and like I said, in all honesty, I really appreciate you, bro. Please, let the people know that didn't tune in to part one, even though I don't know why. Let the people know where to find you. Let the people know about your work and your movements and so forth. The floor is yours.
Well, first, let me thank you, Mike, for allowing me to return to the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. Once again, season 3. Let's go. I'm so excited. I am honored that you invited me back, especially for this grand reveal of the new season. Your audience, I would love for your audience to connect with and follow me. I'm at Tyler J. McDowell. All my links will be there, not only for AZ, but Gimmick Infringement. However, I will take the opportunity to promote them. You can find us at 4AZ at 4AZ Teach. We're spotlighting the stories of Arizona's Black educators and discussing the latest hot topics involving the profession. Mike Steph joins us every 2 weeks along with Sarah Beth, local third grade teacher, to recap Abbott Elementary. That will be on its way very soon as we head toward the end of season 4. And then, of course, as you may have heard me say, every Monday, wrestling, culture, and more. We're at GIPod19, gimmickinfringementpod.com. Brad Winchester and I, 2 teachers turned friends, turned podcasters. I hope you'll continue to join Brad and I on our journey every single Monday. Thank you, Mike. Thank you all for tuning in. It's a pleasure to be here, and hopefully won't be my last visit.
Oh, no.
And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, TMB, if you will.
TMB. Yeah. Pickle smokers out there. TMB. Yeah. That's an in-job joke. But yeah, so please, like I said, like he said, please check out 4AZ next week. I'll be on there. Please check out Gimmick Infringement every Sunday. Probably I called my shot about a while ago. So next month somehow, before, matter of fact, I'm gonna put this on air. One of the post WrestleMania shows, yours truly should be on there. If not, you will definitely hear my rebuttal on Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph. But neither here nor there. Once again, I appreciate you for joining me. Next week, I don't know, but I'm quite sure I won't be on this show alone. And please tune in to episode 3 of the season premiere. Yeah, I think it's going to be season premiere month. Fuck it. So with all that being said, I'll see y'all later. I bid y'all adieu. Goodbye. Say goodbye. Damn, people still.